reacting to Iman Gadzhi's insane $3 million watch collection.
All right, so.
I love the way that he sits down. If you've watched Iman Gadzhi content, it's typical Iman.
This is probably half of it.
Already on the clickbait, insane $3 million watch collection, and he goes, this is only half of it.
What watch would you say you wear the least?
Probably this rose gold Daytona with black dial.
So he doesn't wear the Daytona too often. That gets the least amount of wrist time.
You'll notice that there's still quite a few scratches on here, and that's because any watches that I personally don't wear that much, I give to my friends to wear.
I need friends like Iman Gadzhi if he's just like handing out rose gold Daytonas just to kind of wear out to dinner or wear out to a club or drinks or something.
I love the rose gold Daytona on the Oyster Flex.
Okay, the Oyster Flex rose gold Daytona is an absolute beast with that ceramic dial. It's got great contrast, great color. It actually looks very, very sporty, whereas the rose gold bracelet makes it look a little bit classier, a little bit dressier of a watch. I kind of agree with him here.
I think it comes down to really just the way that the bezel pops on the Oyster Flex because they do the ceramic bezel.
What would you say is your favorite?
Out of these, 100% platinum. I remember I requested this watch from Rolex in 2020.
It'd be nice if you elaborate a little bit more on he requested it. Did he actually request it with Rolex? Did he just put his name down on a list at an AD? Does he have enough money and enough sway to actually get something ordered? I'm intrigued about that part of the story.
So this is a watch that I love. This is a Meteorite Daytona on the Oyster Flex.
This is absolutely beautiful. This is gorgeous. I love it.
I actually wish I'd put less Daytonas in this box.
That's one thing I was gonna say. He's spent a whole bunch of this video just talking about Daytonas. So it's nice that he actually kind of recognizes that he has got a lot of Daytonas in his collection.
Because it's white gold, wow, this has a lot of scuffs.
If you've ever owned a precious metal Rolex, you know that that thing, you breathe on any of the gold and it basically gets scratches.
I think I have one Vacheron in here.
The Overseas.
So this is the Vacheron Overseas. So what I love about this watch, which is also same with the Cartier Santos, is just this easy link system with a bracelet.
It doesn't have a spring bar with a tool, so you can kind of swap it out on the fly. So you could literally be going from restaurant to club, just from room to room, whatever it was, and just swap out a strap. So I think that's very cool, very interesting. It gives you more runway and more use of the timepiece itself when you're wearing it.
And I feel like if you see someone with a Vacheron, you know that they're probably a bit more of a serious collector than just wearing a Royal Oak or an Atlas or something like that.
100%, I agree with Iman on this. I feel like a lot of people know about AP, they know Patek, they know Rolex. Once you start to get to like something like a Vacheron, it feels like it's a little bit more cultured. Someone that understands sort of collecting timepieces a little bit more. He's on point with that.
This one. Big boy.
Or the offshore.
I'm not really a fan. I was never that interested.
It's interesting that he's not a fan of offshores. I think I'm starting to kind of pick what he likes and where he is sitting now. I feel like Iman likes things that are a little bit smaller, a little bit slicker, a little bit thinner. So that kind of makes sense. I'm kind of putting him and I understand where he's sitting.
So I just thought, you know what? I need an offshore in my collection. It doesn't get that much wrist time.
What a guy. He buys it because he needed an offshore in his collection. That's some FU money.
Show us something that is a heavy hitter.
One that people would most certainly consider a heavy hitter, and then one that the watch community. So this is a 3501. Over the years, I've played around with having this watch with the deployment clasp, as well as some of my other RMs. I put them on deployment clasps, but like I always just keep coming back to the Velcro.
It's interesting that it keeps coming back to the Velcro because I like a deployment clasp myself. I think that's just the way that I like to go over sort of a tang and buckle. But it's interesting that he likes the Velcro. I guess it's just more comfortable, easy to play around with.
One of my recent pickups, this I've been waiting for some time from Patek. This
Nice.
is a world time, but it's not just any world time. It is an enamel world time.
This is exactly what I'm saying by like you can almost pick Iman. Even though he has a big RM and that's a heavy hitter, he likes his Patek. It's nice and sleek, it's nice and thin. It's a very dress watch. I think it fits his frame and suits the way that he holds himself, so that makes perfect sense.
Patek flew me out to Geneva on the jet. I got to spend a couple days there. I got to sit down and have lunch with their CEO.
That's absolutely insane that he got flew out by Patek, goes on a tour, gets to meet him. That's an awesome story, and that's a great thing to have. Now I can understand why he has such an affinity for Patek.
So just going back to complications, this is a white gold Nautilus, 5740. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend to be Nico Leonard and know all the numbers and all the different references.
I love it. In the back of my mind, I can hear Nico just hitting pause right now. I hope Nico reacts to this video, because this is absolutely great. Just the fact that Iman knows Nico. Look, if you don't know Nico, then you're crazy. But yeah, I love that, because in my mind I can hear Nico just yelling out the references and then throwing a little tidbit about the first time he bought, sold, or held it.
I am a collector. I'm not an expert, so I do want to just make that clear. I'm not going to be able to tell you too much more about the watch, except for the fact that I believe it's the most complicated Nautilus. It's white gold and it looks beautiful.
He's not wrong there. It looks absolutely beautiful.
Would you say it's your favorite out of that box?
No, I'd say that out of this box, it's probably either the enamel dial or this, which is a rose gold Aquanaut.
I find it interesting that he likes the Aquanaut as one of his favorite pieces, and I think it's coming back to what he was saying with the Daytonas. I think he likes the rubber straps. I don't think he likes the steel bracelets. I think he likes something that hugs and something that looks a little bit different from across the room, something that not everyone has.
But yeah, when it comes to Aquanauts, very comfortable. I think incredibly comfortable bracelet. I actually find them to be more comfortable than Rolex's Oyster Flex. That's just me personally. And I just like the low, thin profile of it. I just like it when the watches are just flush and sleek.
I also think it's because he likes to wear long sleeves, suits, things like that. It can just fit over it. You don't have to worry about sort of throwing it, trying to get your cuff over the top of a watch.
We've got a couple day dates in here. This is the 60th anniversary green olive dial. This is an example in white gold, and this is an example in rose gold.
Loves the rose
with
gold.
a diamond bezel. I'm not a massive diamond guy, to be honest, and if it is diamond, obviously it has to be factory.
I love that. I love that he kind of throws that dig at the fact that if it's got to be diamonds, it's got to be factory. He has been listening to Nico way too much.
I feel like I still have a lot of collecting to do.
I think that's what every single collector's like. No matter what you have, you've always got more collecting to do. There's always another watch you want to put on your wrist. There's always another one that you want to swap out.
I don't know moon swatches.
I do have a lot of moon swatches, that's correct. I was wearing one when I started. Moon swatches are just cheap. They're just fun. I put them on these rubber straps.
I love that he's got a moon swatch on with like an aftermarket sort of strap. And it's what watch collecting should be about. It should be about fun, not about how much you've actually got.
Batgirl. Some people like go on the Oyster bracelet. Pepsi, I think I've already talked to you guys
Love
about
Pepsi.
this. This is a white gold, this is not the steel.
Yeah, the steel has a black dial. The white gold, so the precious metal version, has that blue dial. I actually prefer it in the steel version because I like the black dial. The contrast just works for me.
On the theme of thin profile watches, I just really love the jumbos because they're thinner, more flush. Some of the AP cases can get kind of big. 5205G, this is a white gold piece from Patek. It's got this blue sunburst dial. Great watch, beautiful.
Perfect.
38 millimeters, so a little on the smaller size for my wrist.
I agree. I've got some 38s. I feel like 40 is that cusp for me. Anything 40 and above, I like. Anything under 40 does get on the smaller side. So I agree with him there.
And then now getting into my favorite pieces in my watch collection at the moment.
This should be good.
Obviously, as a collector, that changes month by month.
He's so true. No matter what your favorite is, it's always going to be different next month, next week, tomorrow.
These are the 4 watches that have been in my rotation the most and gone the most wrist time. If I had to have one watch for the rest of my life, it would be this. It is the 5712R. It took everything that I loved about the 5711R and just made it even better.
He loves the rose gold. I can see why he likes it. And yeah, I think it's a good choice.
Even though it is rose gold, even though it can be perceived to some people as flashy, for me it's just stunning. This is a platinum day date. This exact configuration, this has the baguette bezel and it also has the baguette markers.
I love it.
And I just think it's beautifully balanced. There's certain watches that you just look at and you're like, this works.
Yeah.
This makes sense. Now the next watch is incredible.
Another Patek.
Absolutely incredible. Now this is a 44 millimeter watch. There's definitely not many people that want to be spending this sort of money for a dress watch that like no one knows what it is. And this is definitely a collector's piece.
100%. I can't echo him more. This is a collector's piece. The fact is, if someone's wearing this on their wrist, you know they collect timepieces, and you know they're not wearing it to show off the fact they've got a large sum of money on their wrist.
And the last watch is
RM.
a watch that has been in my rotation ever since I got it. I was in love with it.
And it's on the Velcro.
And even when I first started getting into Richard Mille, this was the watch that from day one I told him that I wanted. This is a 6702. I like thin profile watches.
I can see why Iman likes this. This fits in to what he likes to wear with watches. He likes thin ones, small ones, low profile ones, and this is a thin, small, low profile RM. So this fits Iman's bill perfectly and fits it to a T.
Compared to the 3501, just check that out.
This screenshot like says it all. That's why he likes this, and I completely understand why he would do that, just because that's his style. It fits in with the clothes that he likes to wear. It's perfect. What I love about his collection, and I'm so glad it doesn't have a bunch of aftermarket bust down pieces that he's wrecked. I actually do think that Iman is a watch collector. He does understand watches, even though he kind of rips on it and says that he doesn't understand watches and he's not an expert and he's just a collector. He's a well-informed collector. He really likes to collect and he understands the timepieces that he's got in his collection. He's got a bunch of different variations. A lot of them are in precious metal, but he's also got pieces that are under the radar, pieces that are only collectors would know or realize, and I think that's very interesting. And in terms of what I changed in his collection, it's nice that it's not all just Rolex or it's not all just Patek, but he's got a Vacheron, he's got some AP, he's also got Cartiers, and he says that he's got another box, so this is perfect. I can't fault the guy and his collection and what he's got. I think it's well-rounded, good materials, good variations, good straps, good everything. Overall, this is a very, very good collection.
And most importantly, buy whatever you're into. I have some of my friends that have just collections of Omega Speedmasters, or I have friends that pretty much only wear vintage Cartiers. So whatever you're into, find out what that is.
That's perfect advice. The fact that you can only want to wear Omegas, that's fine. You can only want to have some lower end pieces, that's fine. As long as what you put on your wrist makes you smile, makes you happy, that's all that matters.
So with all that being said, work hard, and I'm sure I'll see you with a collection like this sometime soon.
I hope so. So that is a look at Iman Gadzhi's insane $3 million watch collection. If you enjoyed this video, if you liked this video, go down there, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and tell me what your favorite Iman Gadzhi timepiece is. I enjoyed making this video. Hopefully you enjoyed watching it. And as always, until next time.